Technology has grown much in the present and is making a significant impact on careers. All those technologies came from developing new softwares and products that requires a lot of coding and programming. Coding and programming are languages that helps in the development of softwares and products. On that note, hey everyone, I am Vaibhav Khandelwal and I welcome you all to yet another exciting video from Simplilearn. In this session, we will be discussing roadmap for data structures and algorithms. However, before we begin, make sure you have subscribed to our YouTube channel and clicked on the bell icon below so you never miss an update from Simplilearn. Let's look at the agenda for today's topic. We shall begin our session by introducing different programming languages. Then we will discuss prerequisites that you need to learn before starting with data structures program. After that, we will discuss different types of data structures. And then we will take a brief look at algorithms. Then we will discuss various coding competitions and platforms you can take part in to hone your coding skills. Finally, we will discuss some tips or advice you may find helpful in data structures and algorithm problem solving. Without any further ado, let's get started with the first topic of this session, programming languages. There are various programming languages that you can learn to help you code data structures. We will discuss C language, C++, Python, and Java. Let's discuss them in detail. First up, C language. C is a general purpose structure programming language. C language can be used to develop programs like operating systems, compilers, databases, and so on. C language has a vast library that contains numerous built-in functions. Next up, C++ language. C++ is also a general purpose programming language. C++ supports 7 styles of programming like functional, structural, and object-oriented programming. It is also used in creating operating systems, browsers, and games, etc. Next up, Python programming. Python is the most significant programming language because the syntax of the Python programming can be easy to understand to every learner's level. And this programming language is also loaded with the full of libraries that helps in implementing scientific computing. Working and deployment of Python are supportive and easy in any environment. Finally, Java programming language. In this modern era, Java is the best language to choose. Nearly thousands of applications, softwares, and development tools are built using the Java programming language. The technology is primarily used in creating websites such as YouTube, Google, Amazon, Flipkart, and many more. Moving forward, now that you have a better understanding of which programming languages you would like to code with, let's understand what are the prerequisites you need to learn to get started with the data structures and algorithms. First up, basic syntax. Before you start writing any code, you need to have basic syntax on your tips or you may run into various errors. Next up, data types. If you want to make your code perform various operations and you will need to understand data types and their syntax. Next up, operators, variables and functions. These are the elements that makes a code functional or operational. The data types are essential in declaring them. Next up, conditional statements or loops. Let's say if we want to print only a specific part of the information when certain conditions are met, then we can write conditional statements if else. If we were going to print a lot of elements like all natural numbers from 1 to 100 with a bit of code, then we can write some loops like for loop or while loop. Then we will discuss object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming or OOPS is built around objects, which are data structures that contains both data and the code. Next up, we will discuss data structures. We will start with arrays, linked lists, stack, queues, trees, graphs, and heaps. Now, let's have a closer look at them. First up, arrays. An array is collection of elements stored in consecutive memories. An array is the most basic data structures. The majority of data structure and algorithms can be implemented with the help of arrays. Next up is linked list. A linked list is a linear data structures made of nodes. These nodes are made up of two parts, data and the address to the next node. Linked lists are easier to work with and they are faster at insertion and deletion. Next up, stacks. Stack is a linear data structure that follows a particular order from which the operations are performed. We can perform insertion and deletion only from the top. This is also why stacks are called last in, first out or LIFO based data structures. In stack, insertion is referred to as push operation and deletion as pop operation. Next up, queues. Queues is also an abstract data structures, but unlike stacks, a queue is open at both its ends. One end is used for insertion, also referred to as NQ, and the other is used for deletion, also known as DQ. This is why the queue is regarded as first in, first out or FIFO based data structure. Following trees. A tree is a hierarchical data structure made up of nodes. The first node of the tree or the node which has no parents is called root node. Else, all of the other nodes can have a maximum of one parent and can have multiple children. Each node contains some data and links to its children. Next up, graph. A graph is a non-linear data structure consists of nodes and edges. The nodes are sometimes also referred to as vertices, and the edges are lines and arcs that connects any of the two nodes. Graphs are often used to represent networks. Finally, heap. A heap is a special case of trees. Heap is a complete binary tree, that is, it can have maximum of two children and all level except for the last level should be filled. A heap is of two types, max heap and min heap. When every node has a value greater than its parent, then the heap is called max heap. And when every node in a heap has less value than its parent, then that heap is called min heap. Now that you have a firm grasp of basic coding and data structures, we will discuss some algorithms. We will first discuss searching and sorting. After that, we will discuss divide and conquer. Then greedy algorithm, dynamic programming, and backtracking. Let's discuss them in detail. First up, searching. Searching algorithms are intended to search and retrieve an element from any data structure in which it is stored. Next, a sorting algorithm is used to rearrange the elements of an array or list based on the comparison operator on the element. Efficient sorting is critical for enhancing the efficiency of other algorithm that needs input to be sorted list. Next up, divide and conquer. This algorithm requires to divide the whole problem into sub-problems and solve them and then combine them back to get a complete solution. Some algorithms follow this approach like quicksort, merge sort, and Strandson's algorithm. Divide and conquer requires that there must be more than two subproblems. Next is greedy approach. The greedy algorithm aims to build up a solution by selecting the most beneficial option. Greedy is best suited to problems when picking the locally optimal also leads to a global solution. The greedy can also be used to solve Huffman coding, job sequencing, and knapsack problems. Next up, dynamic programming. A dynamic programming technique that produces smaller subproblems and then uses the subproblem solutions to solve the more significant problem. Dynamic programming is nothing but optimization of recursion problems. Simple optimization can change the time complexity from exponential to polynomial. Next up, backtracking. Backtracking is an algorithmic approach to recursively solving problems by attempting to develop a solution progressively, one piece at a time. Then discarding any solution that do not fulfill the problem's criteria at any point in time. Backtracking is also used to solve problems like n-queens, Sudoku, Hamiltonian cycles, etc. We have now discussed both data structures and algorithms. Now let's have a look at top coding contests or platforms to hone your skills. We will start with HackerRank, then CodeVita, Geeks Coding Challenge, CodeJam, and at last CodeChef. Let's discuss them in detail. First up, HackerRank. HackerRank is a technology hiring platform that is standard for assessing developer skills. HackerRank organizes various contests like RRank, Hackfest, and Hack the Interview. Next up, CodeVita. CodeVita is coding platform where one can compete against people from all over the globe for the world's best coder title. Tata Consultancy Services or TCS organizes CodeVita. Winners usually win prizes like cash prizes or free vouchers. It also opens up a door for career opportunities for its learners. Next up, Geek Coding Challenge. Geek Coding Challenge is a 3-day event organized by Geeks for Geeks. In GCC, learners can participate and challenge themselves in solving coding problems to win prizes. Next up, CodeJam. CodeJam is a Google-hosted and managed international programming competition. The competition consists of collection of algorithmic tasks that must be completed within a specific time limit. At last, CodeChef. CodeChef is a website that aims to assist programmers in succeeding in algorithms, computer programming, and programming competitions. CodeChef often organizes various contests like cook-offs and lunchtime. We have now discussed various coding platforms or competitions to hone your skills. First up, let's say if you can't solve a problem in under an hour, you should put it aside for the time being and move on. You can always return to it at a later time. Next up, even if you answer the question correctly, I recommend that you read the discussion and look at other solutions. You could come up with a better way to answer that question. Finally, if you are having trouble understanding a solution, then I recommend you to dry run of the code. And this was all for today's session. Hope you guys found it informative and helpful. If you like this session, then like, share and subscribe. If you have any question, then you can drop them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more from Simplilearn.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.